All right, we are back with round six. I know what you're thinking. Wait, round six, what happened to round five? Well, unfortunately, minor error, and that video is now corrupted and lost to time. Nothing we can do about that. Very, very sorry. Also, if you're watching this live, this finished downloading before round four, so this is probably going to go up before round four. Real quick, huge thank you to everybody at Ready Check Raideo for allowing me to stream this, especially Mike Byrne, Red Dragon Game or Red Dragon Comics, Cards, and Games in Ottawa, Canada, for allowing us to have these videos, and of course, Granix and Happy Japan. We need to get right into it, though. We have key on looks like a monster build. I'm seeing a Goblin and an Atomos. Looks like we went with an Artemisian. Must already have the realm in hand since we dished a Marrowlib for it. Looks like we're up against some form of Gigawall. I'm seeing a lot of Gigawall cards. We're dishing a Vincent, an Onion Knight, and a Remedy to get Warrior of Light and Warrior of Light. Alright. So Key does have an Amaterasu in hand. Probably not super excited to throw that out here, but that is going to cause a big problem for Jason potentially. Let's see what we're looking at here. I'm seeing the Goblin and the Atomos for the Realm. That's going to get us, I imagine, another copy of Atomos. And the Goblin, there it is right there. Searching out a Princess Goblin. We can go ditch the Jet to play the Princess Goblin. That'll activate both the backups. And that still leaves enough to go for the Amaterasu. So yeah, that's probably going to end up being the line, I imagine. Get the full value out of this Atomos here. Right, there we go. Princess Goblin, Artemisian. Jason going, oh, yep, that's Atomos' text. Princess Goblin probably going to search as a copy of Shinryu if this is anything like Tori's list. There it is, right there. Opus 14 Shinryu. Just kind of checks a lot of boxes, to be honest. It's kind of a 5-drop light card you can get with Princess Goblin. And good in singles. Fiance making a little noise behind me. Apologies for that. And this is going to put Key on no cards in hand. But this is very, very potent. I mean, you have to go for it if you're Jason here, right? I mean, your opponent's on 2 cards or 3 cards in hand, one of which isn't anything, so it's got to be just what's the least valuable thing in our hand. Really cool seeing this Tori Kelly list start to take off. It's such a unique build. Realm giving so much value here. Jason's still thinking in the tank a little bit. Looks like I see like an Arya. I see another Onion Knight. Looks like a Zeromus. We're thinking a little bit here. What's the play, Jason? Warrior of Light and Zeromus for Axstar. Targeting the realm, play the Zeromus. We're going to go ahead and freeze all the non-3 drops and kill the realm. Zeromus, though, not getting a ton of value here, to be honest. It's a very interesting line. We're going to freeze the goblin. Sure. And we're going to go ahead and pass the turn there. So we kind of did like an Amat check without actually doing an Amat check. I think that Jason's logic here is that if you have the Amaterasu, you can very easily pop the Axstar here. But I don't think he is really that scared of the Axstar. We have a Larsa in hand. We can go get ourselves a copy of the Demon if we want to kind of mop this up real quick. We are just going to pass, though. I mean, if we're not dealing backups, since Zeromus doesn't have text, and Key knows that that Warrior of Light probably is coming down this turn. Jason is going to go straight to combat, not trying to high roll with the Gilgamesh. That's a Gao into damage, followed by Zeromus freezing the Goblin again. Kind of be cute. And a Buffasaur. Really interesting card that wasn't in Tori's list in Chicago. I mean, Jason's got to go for it here, right? No, still Pat. Playing it slow. Saying, I don't need to resolve this Warrior of Light. If you don't spend your CP, I'm going to win the game anyway. That's a blue mage. Discard a monster to draw a card, I believe. And then, I forget what the second effect on it is. I might have to look that up. I see a Zondi. It's a 7k ping. We can combine that with the Goblin to finish off the Zeromus here, which would be annoying to say the least. Take a point of damage. It's eject. Also not something that was in Tori's list, but very strong with Goblins. Yeah, so the break effect plays a monster onto the field of cost 4 or less. So a good way of recovering that Atomos if we end up losing it somehow here. There's the blue mage. That's going to proc the Atomos. We're going to crack this goblin, finish off the Zeromus. Do we want to go to the extra backup here? It's a little risky, though, because it does... I mean, we can actually play the backup here and then swing with the Atomos if there's no Amaterasu in Jason's hand. That gets us all of the backups back and gets us to 5, which we could want. Playing it safe, making sure that we know the Warrior of Light's in hand. It's got to come down at some point. Very patient play from Key. Knows that he's not really in any threat. Like, the threat level is just not being presented from Jason here. Why overcommit into something like an Amaterasu that could lose me the game? I can take another point of damage here, no problem. And if we draw that next realm, we are so excited to do that. Jason thinking, kind of doing the soul read. I mean, the backups are there. If we were still going to play this really patient, slow game, we can go for the mute for Sid Randell. And Key doesn't have a lot of stuff that isn't going to be upset at the entry effects being gone. Does lose to the Shin... No, it doesn't lose... No, it does lose to the Shinryu if we can't clear it on the turn after, though. So that's not an ideal play. It looks like we are finally saying, well, he didn't amount the Axstar. We're going to go for it. Yep, there's the Warrior of Light. And Key's looking, goes, okay, you ditched Bahamut, Arya, Mute. Absolutely not. Zero chance we're going to let that resolve. Didn't see what we kept in hand over the Lena. Axstar swings in, no target for the damage. It's a bomb. Man, there are some very surprising picks here. That's a quad av. That's not going to do much on its own. But we did get the Larsa. Can we go Larsa here? Get the Larsa? No, Larsa for Realm doesn't work. We don't have enough CP for it. We can use the blue mage discarding something to get like the goblin out of the break zone. That gets us 2 goblins into play, which then makes that Gao into a spin the Axstar if our opponent doesn't have a Warrior of Light in hand. I don't hate that line. We're eyeing the Shinryu. Non-targeting removal of the Axstar kind of represents a threat, but it is going to cost us this Princess Goblin, which we're probably not super happy with. Looks like that is going to be the line here. Probably ditching the Quad Av, I imagine. Just doesn't seem very alive in this matchup. It is the Larsa discarded instead. That'll break the Princess Goblin. That's going to leave the Warrior of Light on the field, but hopefully we're going to catch that. 3, 6, and 9. Warrior of Light has 7. Another Axstar in hand for Jason, though. That could be a pretty big punish. I mean, what do we need here? If we go like Leo, Key's pretty low on resources. Probably isn't on. I mean, this right here is telegraphing no Amaterasu if we're going for a Leo. Tomos draws a card. There's a goblin. That's actually pretty annoying. Gets us another goblin. Get that little train running a little bit. Shinryu is if it reveals a forward, I want to say. Let me pull up the Shinryu real quick. If it's a forward, all the forwards do 7k. If it's anything else, you draw 2. Neither of those are what Jason wants. We do have, it looks like, fire and ice, so we can go for like a Leo off of the Sarah, and then go for the Axstar, play hopefully something from hand. That clears the Shinryu, and there shouldn't be protection for it. I mean, there could be Amaterasu in Key's hand, but I don't really think we can play around that one or afford to anyway. We'll put Key to 5. We haven't seen any Earth cards, and I can't imagine there's room for a Mira Puma line. Mog. I mean, that basically is our Leo, if not a little better. Gets a Warrior of Light. That gets us the cards to play the Axstar. And that's going to clean up the Shinryu. Axstar plays Ferris. That clears Shinryu and the Leo. It's a very clean answer. And we have 3/3 drops. And this Mog is just tantalizingly out of range of this Goblin, killing it. But that's the whole hand for Jason gone. We have not managed to develop any backups. So if we go for like the Gilgamesh kill, I don't think we can do it off of just a top deck because we don't have the Light Warrior of Light in the break zone yet. However, we are still representing a ton of damage next turn, and Realm is offline thanks to that Mog. That's a demon in hand. That's a good card. But it doesn't answer more than one threat currently. I guess it could answer two. You can call Fire, take the damage from the Ferris, and then ping off the Axstar as well. That's probably what we've got to play here, right? Yeah, we've only got the two monsters. You can go Goblin into Gao for 2. Gao spins the... Oh, but the Goblin's going to get canceled on the search by the Mog, potentially. Would you cancel that with the Mog? That's a very interesting one. It seems kind of low impact. There is the Phoenix. That's a really strong card. There's the Goblin. Okay, we're going to offer the trade of the Goblin in the deck for the Mog on field. I have to imagine Jason isn't scared of this. Could be a pretty decent little punish if we just go straight into the Phoenix from here. Jason, how many goblins have you seen? There's the Princess. There's the 1-drop, the 1 haste. Usually there's 2 haste goblins in these lists, but Jason doesn't know that. He doesn't know if he's on, because I mean, there's a lot of interesting tech cards here that aren't in the original, the Tori Kelly build. So we might have squeezed our goblins down a little bit. No, we're not taking the risk. We're saying if we lose this game, it's because of that goblin search right there. So we can go 2 plus, or for the Gao, that's going to spin probably the Axstar, I imagine. It's the biggest threat. The Ferris is definitely annoying as well. That's 2 cast for the Tomos as well. So now we can get that Phoenix into play, kill the Ferris. And I think we're going to go ahead and make the Tomos a forward, offer the trade with the Ferris, does not take it, does not bite. Oh, but we have the Gao, so the Tomos actually could be an 8K, but I guess it still dies to Ferris in the situation. We go 3, just get another Leo out. Draw ourselves a card, give ourselves just that 1 extra blocker. Jason on no cards in hand. I mean, we do have the LB deck, so and I don't know, we shouldn't have used all of our Leos or anything. Warrior of Light's frozen. And Amaterasu is kind of nice. It's Amaterasu Lena, but the Lena doesn't have the send live. Amaterasu isn't live either because we don't have the fire CP to play it. It does open a Zac angle for us. If we wanted to like finish off the Gao in particular, we could go. But that's going to open our Ferris up to being potentially kind of bopped by one of these goblins. I'm thinking quite a bit here. We're tossing the Amaterasu. We're going to keep the Lena in hand. That's going to be the Zac. Get that 3k ping in. It's going to go ahead and just deal with that Leo in one fell swoop. But this Ferris doesn't clear the Gao animating these goblins at all. So we have to pass here, and that's a really rough spot to be. Key's got so many cards in hand. There's the Loporrits. We also have the Demon. We can call fire here, clear both the Zac and the Ferris. Put Jason on just one card in hand, one backup in Warrior of Light. That seems pretty potent. I think Jason's just kind of out of gas at this point. And I kind of have to wonder, like, you know, we held that Warrior of Light for so long. Maybe we could have found a way to get it off the field and try again. If we had gone for it much sooner. It was a cute idea, at least, but... And here comes the Realm. That is... Oh, dear. So that's going to pull out... What, a Sahagin here? No, just the one-cost Hasty Goblin. And a Blue Worm. Get ourselves a draw. Key's deck is so thin here, too. Get a draw. Basically, this is a one-cost forward. The draws 2, and also can now bounce at the end of the turn. Blue Worm draws us a card. That is a Furiance, one of the best cards it could possibly have been. There's the Tros. That's going to be activate both. Key trying to manage all the cards on field. Does not have room on the playmat for all of them. End of the turn, we're going to use the Realm, bounce. Yeah, I guess Key's feeling pretty good here. And he should. I mean, look at the size of the field difference is pretty massive here. So returns, draws the card off of the Tros. And that is Warrior of Light Aria. That's not what we're looking for. I mean, Warrior of Light Gilgamesh would have been nice, but we still didn't have the ice card to play the Gilgamesh. And even in that situation, there's so much suspended damage and things hanging out on Key's side of the field. I mean, even the Blue Mage here actually represents a problem because we can bring back these goblins for a secondary ping, or we could bring back the Phoenix for a nice, you know, huge ping and a huge body. I mean, I think this game is pretty much all wrapped up at this point. Attack. Ferris trying to do the 10k damage onto Gao. Key saying, hey, whoa, before combat, I'm going to use the Blue Mage. We're going to pull back that Phoenix. Phoenix does 9k to the Ferris. It's going to get us just a singular ping, but and that's not where you want to be for sure. We can Ultimate Shield here. That's something. I mean, that's going to clear the Gao potentially. But even in that situation, I mean, the Gao can just animate one of these extra goblins that we just don't really need anymore. I mean, we've got enough monsters for Realm to be alive no matter what we do. Block the Ferris, take the extra... I mean, I guess the Realm would die to that as well. Just lets it go through. I mean, I guess we're really banking everything on I will simply draw Gilgamesh and do enough damage, or like keep my field alive and deck Key out. But I mean, Key still had plenty of cards in deck. Jason, what does this card do again? Go ahead and play the Loporrit. Draw ourselves 2 cards and put one from our hand on the. We put one from our hand on the bottom of the deck. Looks like we don't really want this blue worm. Yeah, blue worm at the bottom. We can attack with this Tros, bounce the Lena back to hand. Don't think we mind a trade with that Warrior of Light here either. Yeah, Key in just such a dominant position. Yep, attack the Tros, bounce the Lena. Tros with the mandatory draw effect. I offer you a trade, Jason. Do you want it? It's kind of strange because it feels like Jason is forced to let this damage through. I really think like the only way we win this game. I mean, we could trade the Warrior of Light to attempt to cast the next one, and hope that that one does what we need it to do. Yeah, here's the Goblin. Just because we do know that we have the Warrior of Light in hand. We're gonna go ahead and make Thomas a forward, swing anyway. Activate those backups, point of damage. And, I mean, shields are kind of down a little bit. There's no Amaterasu. Tomos activates 2 backups. Lena off of the Edgar. They're counting their cast this turn. How many do we do? Yeah. We're gonna play the play the Buffasaur too. Oh no. I think Buffasaur target. That monster field is right back to where it was. And we gotta go for the Warrior of Light here. 1 card in hand, no Amaterasu possible. Hit a Ferris, Vincent. I mean, those are fine. We're gonna get a search here. No, it's only 2 damage on Jason as well, so the Ferris doesn't even get the search. It's like, what? Do you have to correct Buff Sword? Nope, you don't. Bulbasaur doesn't even target, so that's a very clean out to Gilgamesh even. Vincent choosing the 3 backups to Dull Freeze. The Ferris going to go here for the ping. Attempt to do 7 to Gal. And he's saying on the stack of the damage to everybody. I'm going to crack the Bulbasaur, take a point of damage, kill that Ferris. It is a Bahamut. There's the ultimate shield. Last card in hand. And getting the horrible news that Bulbasaur does not target. Just says, when forwards enter the field, when a forward enters the field, you may put Bulbasaur in the break zone. When you do, deal it 8,000. There is no choosing. Good guy Key letting him walk back the ultimate shield there, but I mean, like, this game is in a pretty strong position. I have to imagine it's either going to end this turn or the next, although that deck from Key is getting kind of thin. We might be struggling a little bit with that. And there's a known ultimate shield in hand, so actually getting through this. I mean, we have to do this. Don't know about targeting the Vincent. I think we should have targeted the Warrior of Light there. Try to get that last annoying copy out of his hand. We go for a Leo. It's going to be second cast for our Atomos. And a draw. I wonder what we're digging for here. Furion, maybe? Drew into a Realm. That's a pretty good card. Go ahead and swing the Atomos. Activate those backups. And he's checking. It's print to power, right? He's like, it is, but I have the Goblin, so I can kind of artificially bump the damage. Go ahead and block that. The Atomos is down. Crack the Goblin. That's going to feign the ultimate shield out. I mean, we have to do it. We've got to leave it on the field. Okay. Looks like he basically didn't actually have that ultimate shield. It's kind of a scoop him up situation. Yeah. So Jason's going to concede there. He's like, yeah, I didn't have anything anyway. So. And that's it for round 6. Thank you all for watching. And again, huge thanks to Mike Byrne of Ready Check Raideo. Go check him out. Links in the description below for that. Huge thanks to Red Dragon Comics Comics, Cards, and Games, and of course to Square Enix and Hobby Japan. I will see you all for Top Cut tomorrow. Thank you for watching.